Good evening. Let me emphasize that our preparation is working. The city's been preparing for this Arctic blast since last Thursday. We actually had warming centers open last weekend, but listening to the Weather Service, the National Weather Service, and other experts, they started cautioning us last Thursday. So the department heads, this emergency center has been all hands on deck since last Thursday, and the preparation is working. I want to thank Houstonians for their support, their collaboration. And I want to emphasize that you've got about 2 hours left to do your shopping and tend to business that requires you to be on our roads. Then I would ask you to stay at home and leave our roads for our first responders. Last night, our warming centers had 609 participants. Fondy was the largest, maxed out at 198. Kashmir had a 38. Each and every one of these individuals are important. I had the opportunity to go to 3. It's amazing when you talk to individuals that find themselves in a warming center, why they're there. We know mental health plays a huge role, but also just bad luck in individual circumstances. Someone went somewhere in their car and their battery went dead, can't afford another battery. We're addressing these individual concerns, and I want to thank Houstonians for collaborating with us, and thank you for your kind words of support and offer of assistance that I'm receiving from across this great city. So we have a great city, great people, but we have challenges which we meet. And I want to thank my department directors, the rank and file, city employees, certainly our first responders that were on the streets of Houston literally all night, some staying here, sleeping at the emergency center. But Houstonians, as I said opening, it's no time to let up. I ask you to lower your activities, stay at home, look out for our most vulnerable, our seniors, our pets, our plants. Metro will close its operation at 9 p.m. tonight. We'll reopen and view things on Wednesday. The airport's closing at midnight. Most city departments, except for our first responders, will be closed tomorrow. We'll consider weather conditions tomorrow, probably around noon, and see if we ought to also close city operations, municipal courts, other departments on Wednesday. As you know, HISD and regional schools districts are closed tomorrow and Wednesday. We're also working in collaboration with them. Collaboration is working at the state level. The emergency center has already sent us enough blankets to get us through Thursday. We believe we'll furnish one to everyone that shows up at a warming center. They've sent us meals. County government is working with us. Commissioner Briones has opened up Balin as a warming center in cooperation with the Red Cross. Our nonprofits are working with us. So I can't emphasize enough how coming together, having a united community is going to get us through this Arctic blast. It's a serious one. And as I said, you've got about 2 hours. We're told that it will probably get here sooner than the midnight that was estimated. Now, expect moistures, precipitation to enter our area around 10 o'clock. So this is the importance of this press conference. Emphasize to everyone, do your last-minute shopping. The mayor was even seen shopping at Kroger on West Gray at 9 o'clock this morning. I didn't have any groceries, but I did what I'm asking others to do. Get prepared to be in your house and in your residence, in your warming place for the next 48 hours. We think maybe the freezing temperatures will never get above freezing until probably Thursday. So don't let even clear skies on Wednesday and other days fool you. This is a serious Arctic blast. It's dangerous. It's life-threatening. And let's go to work. I want to go ahead and ask a couple of directors to emphasize their operation, and then I actually want to get through with this press conference so the press can get off our roads. Y'all know how much I care about y'all. And so I want to have everybody going back to work, but Randy, I think it would be appropriate for you to tell us what Public Works has done to get our streets and thoroughfares prepared for this Arctic blast.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Listen, I can't underscore enough what the mayor said and the importance of staying off the roads. Since yesterday morning early on, Public Works crews have been pre-treating our roads with a typical brine solution that we've used. But I remind folks, don't let the pre-treatment of any of our roads, and by the way, primarily that's restricted to critical overpasses, bridges, and flyovers. So this is not a treatment of all 16,000 lane miles of our Houston streets. This is a very selective spot treatment across the city. But don't let that fool you to think that because we've treated it, that makes it safe to drive there. You need to stay off the roads. That's the most important thing. All the brine does is it lowers the freezing point of the water. And as we expect tonight and tomorrow and through the next few days, the temperatures to be exceptionally low, it will freeze. It absolutely will freeze. And then don't be fooled when you see snow on top of it thinking that that's all that there is. Most likely there's going to be ice under there. So the best thing you can do is to stay off the roads. Public Works crews, of course, are riding out the storm at various locations throughout the city to make sure that we can provide additional support to police and fire as they need to respond to other needs for folks across the city. On the water side, of course, as we've told you before, please make sure that you've taken care of all of the preparations you can at home. Make sure that your external pipes are wrapped. Make sure that you know where the shutoff valve in your home is in case you have a catastrophe with a burst pipe so that you can shut the water off. If you have a problem, call 311. We can have folks help walk you through the steps you need to take in your home to make sure that you can protect it as much as possible from burst pipes and flooding. But if you have a problem, call 311. Likewise, if for some reason you see a major water main break across the city during this freeze event, call 311 so that we can do the best we can to dispatch folks to take care of those breaks as quickly as we can. Most important thing, though, once again, please stay off the roads. Our crews are going to be dedicated to helping support first responders. That's the most important thing that we can do to help keep the public safe. Mayor.
Thank you, Randy. Chief Munoz will address the dangers of space heaters, carbon monoxide, and other significant factors in being safe from a perspective of the fire department.
Thank you, Mayor. Prior to this press conference, about 30 minutes ago, I got the count on carbon monoxide alarms that have gone off today in the city. We've had 60 so far. The mayor's emphasized carbon monoxide. I'm going to emphasize it also. Please monitor your surroundings. What do I mean by that? Generators. If you're going to use generators, please, please, please make sure that you're aware where you're placing them. Normally 3 feet from the house, away from the easements, so that way that carbon monoxide doesn't go into the homes. If you do have your heaters, make sure that they've been tested already. But if you do feel some symptoms such as dizziness, nausea, please open a window and call our fire department through 911. Also, space heaters. Make sure you're aware of the surroundings of those space heaters. Open flames. We continuously see that. Fireplaces. Make sure that the surroundings of that fireplace, make sure there's nothing that's flammable in that area that could cause those fires. We continuously see an increase in fires during these winter months. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Cannot emphasize that enough. Again, as the mayor has mentioned, please stay off the roads. And I want to thank everybody behind us with the great collaboration we've been planning since Thursday to ensure the safety of everyone. But please stay off the roads. Thank you, Mayor.
As mayor, I'm particularly proud of our first responders. As you've heard the fire chief talk about their preparation and response, I can't say enough about HPD. We had 2 successful parades this morning, 2 MLK parades, which I participated in. HPD officers protected the security and service for both parades. And Chief Diaz, if you'll come speak to all hands are on deck. You go through our city departments, our first responders, it's all hands on deck until we get through this Arctic blast challenge. Chief Diaz.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. Just to emphasize what the mayor is saying, we are so prepared that we have our team staying over. The one working overnight is our homeless outreach team. We were out last night. We were out all day today. They're going to put down for a few hours to get a little bit of sleep, and then we'll continue overnight. So please, if you see someone that is in need of help, please contact the police department, and we will try our very best to make sure that we get them to a location, get them a blanket, get them something warm, because we don't want a tragedy to happen. But we'll be out here. As soon as we leave here, we'll be out working again tonight. But please, if you can stay home, stay home. As you all know, our interstate system is enormous here in Houston. We have a lot of cross traffic, a lot of visiting traffic that comes through. So there will be interstate traffic on our interstates. So please, if you have a situation where you can stay home, please stay home. Take care of your loved ones. If you get out and you do have a crash, calling 911 multiple times is not going to get the police there any sooner. So be patient for us to get there. We're going to get there as soon as we can. So please take care of one another. Check on your neighbors, as the mayor said. Our police department's been working around the clock. We've been ready since Thursday. So everybody's on deck. Because the city is so large, the weather will be different in Kingwood to Clear Lake, right? So we're prepared. We'll move resources if we need them. And I want to thank the partnership that we have with the fire department as well as with TxDOT. And the TDM is here supporting us as well. So we're working through that. So the police department's prepared. I want to thank everybody in the media for coming and reporting this. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. No population is more important to the city leadership than our homeless population. The Chief and I were working the streets downtown, encouraging people to go over to Fondy, and we were able to persuade several homeless individuals that just, for one reason or another, resisted. But you have to be passionate. You have to be just encourage them to take their pets, go with them. We have bark at our warming centers. And I'm so proud of the Homeland Security. In previous years, Homeland Security mostly dealt with security threats across our city, our major events. But under my administration, I took the good judgment of Chief Satterwhite, coming out of HPD for years, dealing with the outreach team on the streets of Houston, and now he's our Homeland Security Director, but they also are focusing on the homeless. Chief Satterwhite, if you'll give us a report of your experience with the warming centers last night and what we can do to reach this population that sometimes doesn't see the necessity of getting out of this threatening weather.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, so I really want to thank the mayor for his leadership and thank everybody. Thank Chief Diaz and Chief Bantin from Metro. Today we were out on Chartres offering help. Metro police officers, hot team, HPD hot team, as well as Metro bus drivers, and we were offering help and trying to get them off. It is a challenge because a lot of them, for a lot of reasons, do not want to go to the shelters. They don't even see their own potential risk at hand here. So you just continue to talk to them, try to build trust, and try to get them there. I will also say thank you, Mayor. I want to recognize our other first responders here at the HEC, at our Houston Emergency Center, our dispatchers, our 911 call takers, both fire and police, and our 911, Greater Houston 911. They came in today, and they will be staying overnight in 2 shifts. So they are not paid like we'd like to pay them, yet they still show up, and they still commit their time away from their families to be here and take care of all of you. And, of course, to all of our warming centers, both the ones operated by the city and by other entities, jurisdictions. Those are volunteers in some cases, but a lot of them are employees. Again, they're giving up their time away from their own families to be at those facilities to take care of our most vulnerable. So, again, when you see them, please tell them thank you.
Excellent points. Brian Mason, who runs our emergency center. Staff is staying here 24 hours a day. Before we answer any questions, I'm going to ask Anna with my office to come speak to our Spanish-speaking residents. I will close by saying the only ones I can find so far that are cheering for the snow are for my grandkids. The grandkids haven't seen snow. So I'm going to encourage everybody to be with their families for the next 48 hours. Look out for your partners, your families, your pets, and let's make this something that we can look back at and learn from and be stronger going through these challenges. Anna, if you'll translate for us.
Yes, sir. Buenas tardes. En resumen, para nuestros miembros de comunidad de habla hispana, estamos preparados, la ciudad, junto con el condado, junto con el estado, junto con otras organizaciones, todos estamos trabajando juntos para poder salir de esto más fuertes. Lo más importante que el alcalde y todos atrás de mí quieren reiterar es que por favor no salgan a la calle a partir de como las 9 de la noche. Tienen como 2 horas para terminar todo lo que tienen que hacer, sus compras, todos sus mandados, y por favor planeen quedarse donde van a estar hoy en la noche hasta el miércoles en la noche. Vamos a ver cómo está el jueves. Si van a utilizar centros de calentamiento, también háganlo ya. Viajen ahorita para poder llegar dentro de 1 hora para que ya no tengan que estar en la calle, porque va a empezar la nieve y va a empezar la lluvia y las condiciones van a ser muy peligrosas. Metro y también los aeropuertos van a dejar de funcionar hoy en la noche. Por favor, planeen por eso. Queremos decirles más que nada que por favor cuiden de la gente a su alrededor, sus vecinos de la tercera edad, niños pequeños, mascotas, su tubería, todo lo que pueda causar algún problema, cuídenlo ahorita, tienen 2 horas. Y si no tienen que viajar, quédense en casa, disfruten la nieve con sus niños y por favor manténganse seguros para mantener a todos los demás en nuestra comunidad seguros también. Gracias.
Very good. This time we'll entertain questions. Mario?
You and Randy were discussing whether
Sure.
or not to let your pipes drip or smooth flow. Has any of that position changed?
No, we asked you to wrap your pipes. We all know that if everyone dripped their pipe at the same time, it would create a pressure problem. We have sufficient pressure now. The county takes a little different approach, but we monitor. Houston furnishes water for our region. Like over 5 million people receive their water from the city of Houston. So we monitor the pressure in the surrounding communities as well. But as we talk today, we're in good shape, and would ask people to take measures like wrapping their pipe, opening their cabinet doors, and using common sense.
Is there, if I could Chief Williams on this, is there a bit of a silver lining that this storm is coming in the middle of the night when the early morning hours and rotating the city with regards to daytime and emergency calls?
Yes, so what we've done, and thanks to the mayor's support, we've got 2 shifts now. We've already had the shift that starts tomorrow come in today already to be able to respond. For the main reason is safety, but also be able to get them in. And so, yes, we'll continue the operations as normal, and we'll be monitoring the weather. But again, we've already got our shifts that are going to be overlapping to make sure they get to us safely and they're not out in the roads in the treacherous conditions.
How do you view the storm coming in overnight? How do you view the storm hitting overnight as opposed to hitting in the middle of the day?
Well, nothing. It doesn't change anything that I've said. Be prepared. Let's collaborate. Let's look out for our families, our neighbors, the homeless, our pets. We're prepared, and that's. I want to emphasize that. But we can't let up at this point. The storm is going to probably get here a couple hours sooner than we anticipated. Of course, you understand. All I can do is listen to the National Weather Service. But we're prepared whenever it gets here. How about that? And like I said, one of my big challenges is I want the weather to be as mild as possible, and I got grandkids that want a lot of snow, so I got to deal with that crisis in the family. But experience matters.
Mayor, can you touch on the Z-Trip cars that are in place to take people to warming centers, and how many of those do you guys have in service?
Yeah, let me, Chief Senator, what? Yeah. Or Chris, are you handling that? Let me yield to Chris. Yeah, I didn't.
Cars that are taking people to warming centers, and how many of those are in service? I think they're called Z-Trip.
That's what I wasn't familiar with the term.
So we've had plenty of capacity all day with our Z-Trip transportation partners. As of earlier this morning, they had provided more than 92 trips to warming centers. The city of Houston is operating 10 overnight warming centers. We publicized those locations. That's going to continue until the conditions of the road make it unsafe to continue those operations, but we'll maintain that until the last moment that it's unsafe.
Yeah, no one We have plenty of capacity. Metro Lift, HPD, and others will get you there.
Do you anticipate any pre-road closures, or will it just happen as it?
I hadn't heard from Randy or first responders contemplating that. But as I've emphasized, get your traveling done in the next 2 hours and go home, and let's get through the next 48 hours.
Mayor, can we expect any additional food resources for anyone staying?
We do. The state sent us large amounts of MREs. Last night we were feeding folks. We're collaborating with nonprofits, so we are making certain that the individuals in the warming centers are fed. I was in Acres Home last night. There was a darling family with 3 young kids that were traveling from California, want to go to New Jersey. They were living in their car till they heard our announcement about the warming center. And I personally have been trying to handle their challenges starting early this morning. In fact, we transferred them from Acres Home to West Grave because we had a little better room for privacy for a family of 3 young children. And we're doing good things. It's very rewarding.
Is it correct that some currently are only offering snacks for right now and others are offering more?
You know, we're offering whatever it takes to service that population. We have meals, we have snacks. A lot of folks, it depends on the duration of their stay there. Some actually want to go back home during the day. So, you know, my vision for handling and helping the homeless is individual caseworkers. I mean, I know for a fact if I could talk to each and every one of the persons in the warming centers, see what their circumstances are, working with my professional staff and resiliency committee and recovery. Angela Blanchard is brilliant. Ran Baker Ripley for years, the largest social agency in the city, and now she's one of my department heads. So if I could get to every family, each individual. There was a lady at Fondy last night said she hadn't had power since Beryl. So we're working to see what is wrong with her electrical circuits. So we're all in this together, all hands on deck. We have a great city, great people. And we're meeting our challenges like no other city in America.
When we walked in here earlier, there was a fellow checking in. It sounded like he was here from Wichita Falls to help. Can you speak about out-of-county resources or people that are here to provide?
You know, I referenced earlier I wanted to thank Houstonians, but also the region and the state. I don't know how people get my cell number other than I give it out very freely, but my phone is full of offers to help Houstonians. People like Houstonians. They like my administration. And let me speak to the morale of our city. It's good. The morale of our first responders and our city employees has never been higher. It's because they feel the spirit, the can-do attitude that's represented before you today. So, yes, if someone from out of town shows up offering to help, certainly we'll assist them and show them our warming centers if they've got transportation. Now, we also want to have all the safeguards in place. One of the reasons we moved the young kids from one center to another, we thought we could protect them better from, you know, we don't search folks, we don't do background checks. We have an open door policy. Anyone can show up and get assistance, but we want everybody to be protected and safe. So certainly we're all in this together. The state collaboration with NIM Kid and the Emergency Center in Austin is just the best in the country. They are so proactive, and we work with them in a proactive mode to get the supplies down here before they're needed. So, like I said, we've got about 2 hours left of preparation, and then I'm going to ask everyone to stay off our roads, reserve the space for our first responders. Look out for your pets, your plants, your most vulnerable, our seniors. We have seniors in assisted living. If you have a mother, father, or elderly person, check on them in the next couple hours.
Mayor, you touched base at all with Center Point or relying on state funds?
We've been in contact with Jason Wells. I personally have been in contact with the CEO of CenterPoint. They brought in large amount of resources, being proactive. They're working with ERCOT in Austin. with the PUC. So we really don't view this as an energy challenge. Always, you don't take anything for granted. That's the reason they're being so collaborative with us. They're preparing. They've got resources on the ground here. You know, I could give a talk as a former state senator. The state in its growth has to get ready for more generation. But that's not our responsibility, but we do emphasize to Austin, we have to have energy to have public safety and life and welfare.
I'd like Chief Munoz, if he could step up to the podium.
Sure.
Talk about the message and clarified 60. You mentioned 60 carbon monoxide calls en español. ¿Y cuál es la importancia de que la gente que se va? Nosotros fuimos al suroeste ahorita.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Hay gente que se está tratando de calentar con lo que puede. ¿Cuál es el mensaje para la gente que en realidad no sabe que está el peligro de esto?
Bueno, es muy importante que la gente sepa el peligro que tiene uno, ¿no? Porque, como dijimos todo el tiempo, cuando no saben lo que queremos decir, pues es veneno, es lo que pasa todo el tiempo. Pero la cosa que queremos que sepan, que por favor pongan atención, se sienten mareados, se sienten con vasca o algo, que por favor abran la ventana y los llamen a nosotros, porque tenemos aparatos que podemos usar para ver si tienen un problema en la casa. Pero por favor, si tienen el fuego, por favor, que estén asegurados lo que están haciendo, porque es muy importante. En estos tiempos es cuando se pone más peligroso y por favor, le pongan atención a los mensajes que tenemos, que vamos a hacer en las noticias y ahorita le pasamos la información para ustedes también.
Las de 60 llamadas.
60 llamadas hemos tenido ahora.
Solo hoy.
Solo hoy. Thank you, man. Gracias. Yes, we've already had, prior to this press conference, we looked at the numbers. We've already had 60 calls for the carbon monoxide alarm systems going off. So our firefighters are going out there. We do have extra carbon monoxide detectors within our trucks and along with equipment as well that we're going to be utilizing.
And what's like the time frame for the 60 calls?
We've had it since midnight yesterday. Thank you. Well, a lot of things. Obviously, a couple of things. The heaters, people don't recognize that when they haven't really cranked up their heaters throughout the year. Once they do that, there's that possibility of carbon monoxide. But also generators that people have a tendency to want to use. They might have some issues with electricity, so they use the generators, which does create that carbon monoxide poisoning, which is something that we definitely educate the public continuously. Thank you.
We'll be in contact with y'all tomorrow. We really need to go to work. Thank y'all.
You've been in the city for your lifetime. Do you ever recall a time when this much snow in Houston?
No.
For your public works really quickly, there's the idea that there could be the false summit of some of the snow melting, freezing on the road, and then there's still snow. Do we have a plan on how it's going to be cleared in the days to come?
Yes, we're working in cooperation with TxDOT. They're bringing actually some snow plows from other areas of the state. So it's kind of based on situation. We're doing everything to get ready. We took that in consideration. Public Works is in contact with TxDOT, so if snow is sufficient and we need it to clear our thoroughfares and certainly our TxDOT highways through Houston. So we've checked every box and we're as prepared as humanly possible. Randy, you want to address that?
I don't want to wax overly scientific on this, but I'll give you a good lawyer answer I learned in law school, and that is it depends. It depends on all the different factors that we have going on, where the road's at, what the surface type is. Is this an elevated structure? Is it closer to the ground? But that's where I also emphasize to folks, we don't want you to be too comfortable thinking that because we've pre-treated a particular bridge or overpass that makes it safe to drive. The reality is, with what we're expecting this weather to do, it's all going to freeze at some point. And at a certain point, if it warms up enough and the top snow melts and then it gets cold and that refreezes, you may have, kind of a little pattern that's taking place, which is why, as the mayor mentioned, we're going to continue to monitor it. We'll take a look at it again tomorrow, see what the conditions look like. But, most folks really should prepare to batten down the hatches for the next few days and to plan to stay put, stay off the road, stay put. As the mayor said, this is one of those things that the weather experts are telling us is unprecedented. for Houston. So we need to take unprecedented measures, which is stay off the roads.
Any work done to trim trees or keep any limbs from falling on cars or power lines as they lay down?
I'll be honest with you, not to my knowledge. We're so busy taking care of the thoroughfares and preparation with pipes, pets, plants, seniors, the vegetation, no. I will emphasize that Centerpoint's been working since Barrow, and they could speak to that, but they've done a really large job of vegetation control and trimming. I would follow your question with, if you find yourself on the roads in the next 48 hours, reduce your speed. And you just can't, these are not normal circumstances, so use common sense and smarts, and let's get through this safe. Thank y'all for being here, and we'll give you an update tomorrow.
Go on.